This was posted on the Department of Homeland Security's Twitter account, the official Homeland Security X account. Let's run that again. I want you to see it again. So that was a post from the Department of Homeland Security where they apparently reposted a TikToker's video, and the caption over the top says, "ICE, we're on the way. Word in the streets, cartels put a 50K bounty on y'all." And there's a bunch of black men putting on masks ready to go attack ICE. Hey, yo, let's set aside all the irony based on them talking about how afraid they are of that, even though they've got a bunch of white folks attacking people in the streets with masks on. But the Homeland Security posted that and said, FAFO. If you threaten or lay hands on our law enforcement officers, we will hunt you down and you will find out really quick. We'll see you cowards soon. So they're now on social media being keyboard warriors, talking about how they're coming after black folks that posted apparently something on TikTok about coming after ICE because the cartels are now in conjunction with us and they're going to pay us $50,000 so we can buy more guns and drugs and have sex because that's what black guys do, because this Department of Homeland Security is full of racists. I saw this because Joy Reid was talking about it. I want to let her break it down a little bit differently.
Hey fam, so the Department of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem's outfit, is now weaponizing social media against the American people and putting Americans' lives at risk. The Department of Homeland Security ex-Twitter account posted this video purporting to show a group of young black men threatening ICE agents, saying there's a $50,000 bounty on your heads and, we're coming for you. And then they make a threat back and say that if you threaten ICE agents, we're coming to get you. Well, turns out the video is an AI fake. An astute user on X-Twitter noticed that the Homeland Security video, which is a TikTok video, they've actually changed the caption on the video. The original TikTok video has a completely different caption that's not about ICE at all. It's about Iran. They even changed the music. That's how you know it was re-edited, because the musical track on the clip is different. The caption is completely different. And they've essentially used this young man's video in order to create a fake appearance, a fake threat against ICE from young black men. So they've weaponized anti-blackness. They've weaponized a lie that these federal agents are being threatened and that there's a bounty on their heads, which they've apparently made up. And they're using anti-blackness in order to create this fake sense of threat. That is your government using your resources, your tax dollars, in order to weaponize American social media to get those Americans death threats, because that's what's happening to this young man.
That is exactly what's happened to this young man. So Joy Reid talked about the big crux in this whole thing. FAFO from the Department of Homeland Security towards these young black guys. So then once they then put that out, she continues to talk about the response from the guy that was the focus of that apparent AI video that DHS took and manipulated and used for their own purposes because, they hate black folks too, in case you forgot. Here's more from Joy Reid talking about it, and she also shows what that user said in response.
Here's a little bit of his video in which he talks about the fact that since this video has gone viral, he's now getting death threats. Take a listen.
I get threats daily on IG. And everywhere, all over my social media, all of a sudden, due to an old video I posted months ago about Iran. That was not to be a threat. It was literally a joke, bro. Like, seriously, it's just content. Anyways, once I seen that video that was posted on my account, then I was like, what the fuck? Well, then I posted this like months ago. Then I seen the caption. And then I was like, wait, I didn't do that. I still got the video saved on my draft months ago on TikTok, bro. I'm gonna pull it up right here. Here's the fucked up part. The federal government is involved with something that I didn't.
He spoke for 3 minutes on his full video, but that was Joy Reid's part of it that she was showing folks. Now death threats have come his way. I'm just waiting for the next thing to drop, or for them maybe hoping that somebody starts getting hurt, or maybe people respond to these death threats. The targets of these death threats respond, and now we got more fighting in the streets. more folks that they can claim are anti-American. I can't believe they would do this. And by the way, really fast side note, apparently the original video that they took and manipulated for the purpose of scaring scary ass racists into thinking black folks are now coming for their lily-livered white ICE agents. Apparently it was this trend video talking about targeting Iran. I'm not sure if you guys saw many of those trends. I only saw 2 people do it, so I didn't know it was much of a trend. But this is one of the craziest parts, from my understanding at least. Maybe I'm wrong, but from my understanding of the 2 that I saw, it was from like June or so, whenever those Iran attacks were carried out by Trump to take out the nuclear facilities, which to this day we still don't know the effectiveness of it, because Pete Hegseth has gotten mad about it and made sure he cut out all journalists from even asking any questions. But there was a response from folks that were doing the whole Iran responds to us, and man, we're going to respond back, and there's going to be a fight on our hands. That's what we were potentially worried about, an escalation to an armed conflict. And many folks were online talking about some Iran, come get it. You see what we can do. You don't want to F with us. That was like a supportive video to the stupid shit that Donald Trump was doing, that he was covering up and acting like it was some super effective thing. They used a potentially supportive, trendy video about the attacks on the Iran nuclear facilities and turned it into this guy attacking ICE. Just think about that. Whether you support their bullshit or not, they will use you for the sake of a scarecrow to make sure that all of their minions are afraid of these guys because they look scary, right? They're black and they put a mask on their face. Last part from Joy Reid talking about how bad this really is, because this is what I was thinking, but sometimes she puts things a little better than me.
If your government can steal your content in order to weaponize a falsity, a lie against Americans, in order to get Americans' lives, in order to get Americans, death threats, threatening their lives, that's your government doing that to you. What else could they do using your social media in order to create fictions and lies that they could use against the American people? Wake up. This government is dangerous. This regime is incredibly, incredibly dangerous and malevolent, and they are weaponizing your government against you. Hopefully that young man is safe.
That's where we've come with AI. There's always been the discussions about how AI eventually is going to get good enough that people don't know one thing from the other. They don't know how to detect whether or not it's fake or not. And in many cases, I hadn't looked at much of this yet, but there's, of course, some folks who said they can tell. There was folks who asked and looked into certain kinds of cues into whether or not it was fake. I guess all that's up in the air because in response to this, I guess they saw Joy Reid's videos about it, and the Homeland Security responded yet again on X and said, "We have receipts." They're pushing back. This young man posted violent threats of murder against our law enforcement. He then deleted it when he was called out and attempted to deny all wrongdoing. "We have the receipts and the internet is forever." The willful ignorance and intentional blindness by leading Democrats to the massive increase in violent rhetoric against our agents due to their actions is both disgusting and disappointing. Violence against our agents and officers must stop. Pay attention. I was saying this the other day about Marjorie Taylor Greene. Pay attention to what they're saying and why they're saying it. They said they have the receipts on this guy. They're going to come after people who are now threatening to come after ICE agents for a $50,000 bounty that was put out on their heads by cartels. Instead of them continuing to talk about the guy that they have receipts on, they went on to talk about how leading Democrats have this massive increase in violent rhetoric to our agents. And also violence, all these agents must stop. This sounds like the whole purpose of this whole thing is to then go to more divisive ideas and tactics and language to talk about how Democrats have the violent rhetoric. Who said this guy's a Democrat? I didn't know that this guy was an elected official. Who knew that this guy even votes? I don't even know if he's an adult, bro. But the guy put out a video and now somehow he's connected to leading Democrats. I'm not sure which leading Democrats he's in conjunction with. I didn't know that he's also on the House floor while we're in a government shutdown, but they linked it all together because what they want to do is cause people who are maybe beginning to waver on their bullshit to look up and go, don't forget, you're supposed to be afraid of black men. You're supposed to be afraid of anybody that talks about how ICE are actually the terrorists in this country. And then you're supposed to, then if you see any of these guys on the streets, you attack them because that's what this administration is all about. Division, violence, and absolutely extreme lies. So I'm sure there's plenty of people who believe the Department of Homeland Security has some kind of receipts on this. I remember they put it in capital letters, except after that, I haven't seen these receipts yet. I looked for it. I said, maybe Department of Homeland Security is all over this. I've yet to see the receipts. I'm looking for the receipts. I haven't seen any receipts yet. In fact, this is all that happened from another story. It says DHS did not edit, change, or use AI in any other form, any manner or form to alter this video. It was downloaded directly from this individual's account on Friday, October 17th, after it had already acquired over 40,000 likes and hundreds of comments urging individuals to target our ICE officers. Everything that they say, the first thought you should have is this must be untrue until they prove otherwise, because that's who they are. That not because I just decided to say that, because that's who they've proven to us to be countless times. Why should you believe them? And why shouldn't you believe that guy? Have you ever seen that guy before? Do you know him? So the people who don't believe him because why? Ask yourself that question, and why you should believe Christy Noam instead, who's a liar.